Welcome everybody to a very overdue episode of Lasorda's Lounge. I'm Steve. This is with me is Chris. Welcome, Chris.
Welcome, welcome. It has been a while, Steve. I do not know what the delay has been. I don't know. Maybe one of us was sitting down on the 60-day disabled list with a strained oblique. One of us was sent down to the minors to, I don't know, work on mechanics. Whatever has happened, we have not been able to talk about our favorite sport, one of our favorite things in the world, baseball. And yeah, I've missed you. I've missed our baseball conversations. And I do love that A's jersey you were rocking there. A special type of green.
Yeah, it's unmistakably an A's jersey, right? Even though you can't see the
I
Oakland.
don't even need that. I know it is Oakland green, Las Vegas green, Sacramento green, green, catfish hunter green. We'll call it
There
that.
you go. Yeah, I too have missed these conversations. I'm glad we're getting back to it. Our podcast was on the disabled list. Thankfully, neither of us were. It's traveling. We just have not been in the same state very often, and so good to get back to it. And our 20% or so of the season has gone by already,
How is that
and so
possible?
we're here to give our 1/5 of the season update. We're going to do a top
Well,
five, our top five trends that we're seeing, and top five stories that we want to cover today.
well, it's been an exciting first sixth of the season, and I'm looking forward to diving into it because man, we have some things to talk about. Starting with
Yeah,
a topic near and dear to my heart. So the
yeah.
passing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the passing of Bobby Cox, Braves legend, Braves legendary manager. Have to acknowledge that as a lifelong Braves fan.
hmm,
Was saddened to hear the news. We were already planning on broadcasting today, but I saw that and just knew we had to cover it and start with it. Your thoughts
yeah.
first, as you
Well,
got Pete Rose in the background there.
yeah. I've got some baseball highlights playing on in the studio here. Yeah, Bobby Cox. The news about his passing literally hit today as we are recording the show. So we just can't go and do the show without acknowledging that passing and his passing and talk a little bit about Hall of Fame manager Bobby Cox. You know, when we've talked so much about the Dodgers and Braves over the years, and when we talk about those teams from the '90s, my mind always goes to, of course, Smoltz and Maddox and Glavine and the three Hall of Fame starting pitchers. But there was four Hall of Famers on that team, and Bobby Cox certainly is deserving of being in the Hall. Longtime manager of the Braves. How long was he the manager of that team, Chris?
You just need to back up a little bit too, because you do have Chipper Jones and the
Oh,
newly
Chipper and
Hall of
Chipper
Fame
Jones.
Andrew
Yeah,
Jones. So we have a couple
sure.
more
Oh
Hall of
my
Famers
goodness, you're
there.
right. Yeah.
Um,
How could I
but
forget?
certainly it begins with Bobby Cox. I mean, you have to recognize Bobby Cox. Was had a successful career as a Blue Jays manager, and he actually coached the Braves when they were not successful back in the late '70s. And when he finally comes back to the Braves in 1990, that kicks off everything because it starts in 1991. He will win 15 straight playoff appearances, 14 division titles, one amazing run in 1995 taking down those Cleveland Indians. For a Braves fan, I thought that's all I ever needed and wanted was to finally win a title. I mean, we're talking about a Hall of Fame manager who has more wins than Joe Torre, Earl Weaver, Tommy Lasorda, Bruce Bochy, Casey Stengel, Sparky Anderson, Dick Williams. Bobby Cox has won more than all of those guys. He is the fourth on the wins list, 2,504 wins. Simply amazing.
Yeah, and when you think about grumpy old school
Oh,
managers, he's towards the top of that list. I love that I went on, when I went on MLB.com just to browse a little bit this morning and saw the news. The first highlight that popped up after his like a still image of him as a young man was him yelling at an umpire. And that's my image of him running out of the dugout to argue face to face with some umpire.
he's not only at the top of the grumpy list, he has to be the top of the grumpy list. I mean the all-time great grumpies, right? Grumpy Grumps, Tommy Lasorda certainly up there. Earl Weaver, right? Earl Weaver could just give you a tongue lashing. But recognize Bobby Cox for all of his accolades. Leads all-time Major League Baseball in ejections, 162 ejections. I think that's a record that will not be broken.
Wow, I
And
did
he,
not know
he
that.
leads by over 40 ejections. So for all of his accolades, I will take that. It's like Don Baylor getting hit by the most baseballs, right? You've got to just love the fact that you own a record and no one will catch it. So 162, that's your record. Go for it. Dave Roberts, the ball's in your court. Start getting tossed out. Give the rest of baseball a chance.
I'd be surprised if Dave Roberts has 10% of that total.
He's a
He
kind of a
probably
calm
has about,
guy.
yeah, he's pretty calm. He's pretty cool and calm.
And
Well,
it is,
rest in
and
peace.
the rest. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Cut
Yeah,
you
yeah,
off. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Nope. No, no, no. Finish up.
For me as a Braves fan, I must admit, I spent many of those 16 years angry at Bobby Cox because it felt as though
Mm,
we should have won more.
hmm.
But in some ways, I understand, and he had a team and a squad that loved him. Has players that have talked about the way he was a father figure to them, and led them through all of those years. So would I love to have more World Series? Certainly,
Mm.
but an all-time great, and love Bobby Cox. Love me some Bobby Cox. I don't know if this is Lasorda's Lounge. I don't know if you will ever, in your mind, say, for me, if you have the all-time Dodger greats, it's Lasorda at the helm. And for the Braves, I just don't know if they will ever come close to this, no matter what happens for the rest of their wonderful storied franchise.
Yeah, I think that's right. And yeah, perfectly said, Chris. Well, rest in peace.
To his family, to the organization, to everyone, all Braves fans, what a terrible loss.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's move on, Chris. The show must go on. The game continues. Legends pass, and we continue on. And we continue on talking about the stars and the players and the managers and the umpires now more than ever that are in today's game. And so let's dive into our top 5 stories from the first 20% of this season, Chris. And I always start off with the number 5. Why don't you start off today, Chris? What's your number 5 story of this young baseball season?
Michael Nelson Trout and the reemergence of Mike Trout. Loving me some Mike Trout this year. He has 11 home runs already. He's hitting
Yeah.
over 250. He's stealing bases again. He is manning center field. The Angels are terrible as ever, so nothing has changed. But Mike Trout, it is so wonderful to see that swing. The power's back. He's not missing the fastball. It's just wonderful to see. He's on this march toward 500 home runs. It's just sort of rekindled this love of Angels in my heart. My son was at the game at Yankee Stadium where he hit 2 home runs and Judge hit two
Oh,
home runs,
I
and
was
the
wondering.
and the Angels bullpen blew it to lose the game at the end. But that's my number one story. Loving me some Mike Trout. Really trying to debate, like, is this the year that he takes the trade, that some team needs that veteran bat and offers him a chance? I mean, maybe just right down the road, maybe your Dodgers, oh, just want one more reassurance, bat. I don't know. I'd love to see Mike Trout finally win something, but it's so good to see his swing back. It's so good to see him. Mike Trout baseball, it's like a hot dog. It's like Cracker Jack. It's like peanuts. It's like a good cold beer. I love it.
Yeah, that series he had in New York, spectacular, going like back to back with Trout and almost like they're competing against one another. And baseball isn't like that, but it feels like that as a fan when you're watching boom, boom, boom. Oh, yeah, boom,
Five home
and
runs. 5 home runs in four
amazing,
games.
amazing. And yeah, he just looks great. And I got to say, like, as an older guy with back issues, you know how it is to try to twist and turn. And, he's face it 20 years younger than we are, but still, I mean, the guy seems like he's just kind of on the decline. And then all of a sudden he says in spring training, yeah, I think I'm going to play center field this year. And we both went, what? I mean, I
Yes.
think every baseball fan went, what? And boy, he looks great out there. He's running around like a young man again. It's amazing.
It, and it is. It's almost like that boxer's puncher's chance. It's like you put an old Muhammad Ali out here just knocking out Mike Tyson. It feels good to go old guy. You know how fond
Yeah.
we are, but it's so. And I hope it lasts. And I'm going to knock on every piece of wood around me now because the Angels are not going to win. But it's just so fun to see Mike Trout, and I hope he keeps it going for a very long time.
I love that. I love that. When we did our predictions for the AL West and we talked about the Angels, our wild card was which Trout are we going to see? Are we going to see, you know, a decline, a continuing to decline Mike Trout? Is he going to hit 230 with 12 homers? Or are we going to see 70%, 80% of the old Trout? It looks like we're seeing 95% of the old Trout, and that's really cool. It gives the Angel fans some hope, some semblance of hope. Although living in Southern California, you get the news. I don't know if this is national or not, but you get the news of the Angels fans outside of Angel Stadium with signs before every game: "Sell the team, Artie. Move the team to Long Beach, Artie. Move the team anywhere, Artie. Retire, Artie." So Angels fans are still not happy with the team, but it is great, and that's a great number 5 story. I love seeing my Trout thrive, and yes, he would look great in Dodger blue, no doubt.
Our,
All
our,
right,
our Braves blue. We'll do that
he
too.
would, he would. That would be a great late season pickup for the Braves, but I don't think he doesn't want to leave Southern California,
No, no.
and he doesn't want to leave the Angels. Period.
As
Anyway,
Southern California guys, we know right where he lives in Newport
yeah,
Beach, and
yeah,
it's quite spectacular. Wouldn't be a bad place to wake up every morning and look out over that ocean.
yeah, no doubt. All right, Chris, I'm going to take the next one here. My number 5 is National League dominance and American League floundering.
Love it.
So I'm going to share my screen because we're going to look at the standings. We're going to start with the standings. See if I can share my screen with you here. Give me a second here. Window. Hopefully this works. There we go.
Is while you're there doing that,
All
I was
right.
going to say, is anyone in the American League Central above 500? And there you go. They're barely.
There's one. There's one team. There's one team. All right. There's 15 teams in the American League, Chris. There's 30 Major League Baseball teams, 15 in the American League, 15 in the National League. There are 4 teams in the American League with a record better than 500. 4.
That's
You got
crazy. And of those four
it
teams,
is crazy.
Steve, of those 4 teams, 2 of them I never expected to be above 500 at this point.
Right. Right.
And the other 2 I kind of did, but kind of crazy. Yes, so pick it up.
Yeah. So you got the Yankees, and they've got the best record in the American League, right? At 26-13. You got the Tampa Bay Rays in the same division, by the way, just half game behind them. And this is as of today, May 9th, 2026. You've got the Guardians at just 2 games over 500 in the Central. And then the Athletics, one of your surprise teams. I think you're going to talk about surprise teams a little bit later. The Athletics in first place in the AL West at 20-18. Every other team in the American League has a losing record. It's shocking.
What I love is I'm dialed into the American League Central. That is so much fun. You
Right.
add in the injury to Scooble, and we really thought that Detroit Tiger starting pitching was going to get them through. Now that
Right.
Scooble's gone, I do not know what's going to happen there. The Guardians are always the easy pick because they find a way to win. They have one of the best players in baseball. But wow, it would be so much fun to see someone win with like 82-80. It's possible. It is
It's
possible,
possible.
and I'm in.
I
You know,
mean, it could happen. Look at this. I mean, the Guardians are 21-19. The Tigers are right behind them in second place, 3 games below 500. I mean, they're right. It's right there. All right, let's take a quick look at the National League here. All right, so the National League East, your Braves running away right now with the. This has got to feel good. As a Braves fan, Does this look? I mean, look at this. You've got what, seven? That's not a 14 game lead, is it?
No, no, they have a 9 game lead, eight and a
That's
half,
a
nine
9 game
game
lead.
lead.
Okay,
Yeah.
my math is off right now. But still, look at that. The second place Nationals at 19 and 20.
It,
Really?
now I know how you feel every year in the National League West when
It's
it
true.
comes to your competition. But I must say, that's a shock to me. You know
It's
what my
amazing.
predictions were. I actually thought it was going to be a third place season for my Braves.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, I think it's probably going to fall a little bit because we are in Los Angeles playing the Dodgers this weekend. And, the Braves just lost their first series this
Yeah.
series before the Dodgers. They've won every series to start the season, and I expect them to lose to the Dodgers. But this is your competition. They're
Eh,
right there. We'll see if the pitching can hold out. But what a surprise, and if you keep going down to the National League Central, even a more of a surprise for a team we
yeah.
expected to win is even more of a a Look at those
And by the
Cubbies.
way, we'll talk about the Mets a little bit later. But yeah, the NL Central. Look at this. Now, look at this division.
Yeah, yeah.
Every team with a winning record. The Cubs having a great season. We're going to talk about them next, I think, or soon. The Cardinals. The Cardinals with those young players. They got rid of
Everybody.
Goldie. They got rid of all those veterans, and those young kids are playing great. Then you got the Brewers, Pirates. I love me some Pirates. The Reds, all playing above 500 baseball, and that is great for that division. And then my Dodgers
You,
at the
you know
top
what
of
it
the
feels
NL
like,
West.
Steve? You know
Mm-hmm.
what it feels like? It feels like the Netflix series Stranger Things for baseball. You have the National League Central and then the American League Central, and one is the
Right.
upside down. Like they're
Yeah,
terrible. There's monstrous things down there, and the other is just
that's right.
sparkling with
That's right. It's the upside
yeah.
down NL, AL, exactly. And then the NL West, you got my Dodgers in first place, the Padres close behind, but
Yeah.
we're going to talk about why we don't think they're as good of a team as they show, as their record shows. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. The Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and the Giants pulling up the rear there in the National League West. But I mean, look at this
We may have to
NL Central.
put those Giants there in the same conversation with the Mets. You have to be enjoying
Yeah,
that. We have too many friends who are Mets
yeah,
fans, and I
yeah,
know we will get to this, but I
yeah.
know your hated Giants. That has to feel pretty good for
It
you.
does. It actually feels really good.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of want the Mets to be better because I feel like when the Mets and Giants are better, baseball is more fun. Baseball is more fun for me as a Dodger fan. I want those teams to compete, but yeah, they're not doing great.
I want the Mets to have better therapy sessions because I want Mets fans just to struggle more and more and more. All of our friends who are Mets fans, I do not wish you goodwill.
Oh,
You
poor
spent more
Mets.
money than everyone other than the Dodgers, and now you got that. So no, Mets fans, I love your stadium, I love your passion, but yeah, enjoy this.
All right, Chris, that was my number 5. What's your number 4 story of
Uh,
this young season so
I'm
far?
going to stick with my Braves, and not only is it a
Okay.
surprise season because you do have some players that are having some amazing years. Ozzy Albies. I didn't know what was left with him. He's playing great. Matt Olson. This is the first year. It's the second year in this trade or this swap for Freddie Freeman that I think we've got the
Boy,
upper hand on this, and that's hard to say. But it's still a long season. But I love him some Matt Olson. But it's really Chris Sale, and I know he lost to your Dodgers last night. You beat him 3-1, but
yeah, we
Chris
got to stale
Sale.
early. Yeah,
Oh, but Chris Sale has been so good,
yeah.
and I think he crossed some sort of milestones here that I think is worth discussing. Chris Sale is now 28th on the all-time strikeout list in Major League Baseball, 2,635. He passed such luminaries as Tom Glavine, Warren Spahn, Bob Feller, Cole Hamels, Christy Mathewson, Don Drysdale. I mean, Chris Sale has an insane amount of strikeouts, but and he's coming up on David Cohn, Tanana, Cy Young. But what's amazing is how few of innings he's done it in. He's always hurt, right? 16 seasons, but his per 9 inning average is absolutely ridiculous.
Mm.
If Nolan Ryan struck out as many people in the same in the that had the same strikeout ratio. He would have 9,000 strikeouts. So
That's
Chris Sale,
amazing.
that
It's
lefty
incredible.
slider is just so wicked. And I know it's modern day baseball. I know that we have more strikeouts. I think that like Blake Snell has a higher strikeout per 9 innings than Chris Sale. But it's pretty shocking for a guy that I thought his career was done, and he's come to the Braves and just locked it down. So I'm going to start with Chris Sale and his wicked strikeout ratio, and I'm going to pose another question. You know me; I love me a good Hall of Fame conversation.
Yeah.
And what equates to a Hall of Famer for pitchers is different now. But Chris Sale, 9-time All Star, 1-time World Series champ, 1-time Cy Young winner, 151 and 90, 2.99 ERA. Is he a Hall of Famer, Steve?
I don't think so yet, but I think he's on his way. And I think you could say the same thing about Olson. I think
Hmm.
he is on his way, and I think he is coming up. Maybe he's really close to or just hit his 300th homer,
Hmm.
so he is coming close. You look at the Braves lineup. You got Olson hitting 293, Drake Baldwin, no relation, hitting 297. You got Ozzy Albies hitting 311. Michael Harris hitting 320. I mean, all these guys are having like borderline, certainly MVP, Hall of, what was I talking about? All Star,
Yeah.
but maybe MVP caliber years. The Braves are the real deal. Hall of Fame, we'll have to see. I think it's a little early for Chris Sale, though he's certainly one of the dominant pitchers of his generation. But can he continue? Can he stay healthy? We'll have to see. I don't know. I think it's a little too early for me to say that.
One Cy Young is the interesting thing. I mean, but a player like Shohei, right, is rewriting record books, and his long-term numbers are not what we would traditionally say would be Hall of Famer. And I understand Shohei's a Hall of
Yeah,
Famer if it ended today, just with all that he's done. But I
just
don't
because
know.
of the two way. Yeah,
Right, but
yeah,
it's interesting. So I think that sales in conversation. We'll have we'll have
sure.
a whole show devoted to this. I've got some other ideas,
Yeah.
for that. But yeah, that's my number four. Chris Sale, the Braves, and Matt Olson. Man, the guy never misses a game. Steve, knock
Oh,
on wood. And the kinds of numbers he could put up because he's still young. It could be pretty frightening.
yeah. I think we could also have a lengthy conversation about who got the better deal, the Braves or the Dodgers.
The Dodgers,
With
okay. I was hugging
well,
you when Freddie hits that home run. That's equated to a Kirk Gibson home run. That was an amazing moment. It's you. It's the Dodgers and it's Freddie and I love me some Freddie too. I'll never speak ill of Freddie. He's one of my all time favorite baseball players. So you
yeah,
got the better end of this deal, and you know what? They're both great guys.
yeah.
Gosh, I wish every baseball player was as just gentlemanly as those two. So we both won. Baseball
We both
wins.
won.
Baseball
Yeah,
baseball wins.
exactly. Maybe it's not
Dennis
who got
Dennis
the better
Eckersley behind
deal.
you does not win. Hold on, Steve. Stop.
Oh,
Turn around.
no, who does not win?
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I
there's
predict a
Mike Davis on
three
first
three
base.
two
He's about to
backdoor
steal
slider
second.
is about to in the season of the impossible,
I'm
right?
going
The
to one up you.
improbable.
Mike Davis is about to be on second base in a second. Um, well, where were we? I
I'm
lost my
sorry.
train of thought, but not.
How do you expect me to
uh,
concentrate with Kirk
I
Gibson
know,
doing one of the greatest things in
I
baseball
know.
behind you? You know,
Look at Mark McGuire. Look how skinny, tall and skinny.
I've got a great idea. Let's pitch to Kirk Gibson with a base open. That sounds like a really good idea. With I don't know
Um,
who's behind him. Mickey Hatcher. Who's up next
hey,
after?
Hatch hit like
I
320 in that
know.
World Series.
Uh, boy,
Okay. Oh, Matt Olson. So going back to him, he hasn't missed a game in 5 seasons.
yes. Which
He
is still
so,
so far behind Dodger great Steve Garvey and so far behind Cal Ripken. It's kind of
but
nuts how.
still, how
Yeah.
rare is that in again this era of the game,
Yeah.
where guys are making $62
Yeah.
million for a 2-year deal or whatever. I I don't know. I feel like the work ethic or something's different about the
Yeah.
players
And
these days, these young players.
Olson does not want to sit. He does not want to come off. He does not want to take a night off for the DH. He wants to play first base, and
It's amazing.
he's surprisingly skilled at first base. I didn't think he could equate. That's where I thought they would lose for Freddie. And Olson's a really good defensive first baseman. He's a little
Yeah.
bigger, right? So he covers more territory. And I must admit, I don't know if you saw the game the other day, but boy, he took Kenley Jansen deep in the ninth to
Oh yeah,
walk
yeah,
it
yeah.
off,
Yeah,
and
you
it was so much
texted
fun.
me and you're like, "Oh my God, the
Walk it
Braves won
off.
that game."
Speaking of walk it off, we're getting closer.
Oh, that's the
We're
foul
getting
ball.
closer.
So, I've seen this about 500 times, and I think it's a 9 pitch at bat. I'm pretty sure there's 9 pitches
Wait, you've
thrown.
seen it 500, but you've also seen
500
it
times.
live.
Yes,
So
that's true.
that tops whatever,
Well, that
you're
was the
going to watch
one.
here.
That was the first time I saw it. Was when I was
Yeah.
actually there at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Third date. Okay. Well, my number 4 was also the Braves, but I did want to take a little bit of a different spin on it than you took. So, and you're lauding the Braves, and by all means, the Braves deserve where they are. Let's talk about the other teams in that division because, and we can comment on the Mets, but I want to hold off on going deep on the Mets, which a lot of teams have actually this year. But so you got the Phillies. Maybe we can give a little love to the Phillies. That team suddenly looks, I don't know, old. Is that fair?
They look kind of old last year, but I still
Old.
think that. So my prediction is I go into this nervous, even with a 9 game lead. I think the Phillies are a better team than we give them credit for. I mean, Aaron Nola has
Yes.
been awful. They're
Yeah.
bringing back Zach Wheeler. I
They've
actually
been
think the
playing a
Phillies.
lot better with
Yeah,
Mattingly at the helm
I
for
think the
sure.
Phillies are going to be there at the end, but it's a lot to make
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
And the Marlins are scrappy with some good young players out there as always, who will be there for 3 years before they're somewhere else.
Right.
The Nationals have some problems. They have a couple of great players, but they also strike out. I mean, I can feel the breeze from Washington hitting my head right now because they just strike out and strike out and strike out and strike out.
Yeah.
Um, so that's going to make it hard for them, I think, to contend. So yes, it does feel good to have a weaker division when we expected to have two behemoths in the Mets and the Phillies, and then the Braves just trying to crack the into the top two. So yes, it's not a great division. I enjoy it at the moment. Maybe not as much as Dodger fans do at this very moment in 1988 as that ball goes over the fence behind your head. But there's still time. And
There's Tommy. Yeah.
so I expect the Phillies to be there at the end. And by the way, Drake
He,
Baldwin, your namesake, boy, what a good hitter. He is looking great as a young hitter. He hits for average, hits for power, hits in the clutch. This is a second-year player, and if he stays healthy, I'm predicting some good things. He's not very old. It's loving me some Drake Baldwin.
are they batting him leadoff?
He's batting two.
He's batting
So
second.
he's a good contact hitter, a good power hitter. So they're hitting him second, and he's really producing there. And they are bringing
That's
back
great.
Sean Murphy. Is healthy again, so he's going to find a way to DH a bit. So
That's
hopefully we can get
fantastic.
through all of
Yeah.
our bad pitching, or our hurt pitching, I should say, to keep this going.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Strider is pitching today or tomorrow. He's coming back.
He's lost some velocity.
I think it's Strider and Snell today, so it'll be an interesting battle of surgically repaired arms.
My prediction is there will be home runs from the Dodger side. Strider he's still wicked. The spin rate is down. I think he needs a little more time. I'd hate to face the Dodgers on my second. Okay, let's bring him back and start him off at Colorado and then put him against the Dodger lineup. What a tough way to start your season. But I expect some big things from him.
That was a missed opportunity. I thought you were going to say my prediction. Pain.
We get it. Our listeners may not.
That's true. All right, let's go to number 3, Chris. What's your number 3 story of the year?
We've been sort of bouncing around this. So let's just go ahead and hit it. How about those Mets?
The
How about those
Mets.
Mets? The Amazins, not so amazing. You know, when we went in and made our predictions for the NL East, I said that I was really worried about their defense. Has proven to be true. Their defense is particularly terrible. And now they're on shortstop number 3 until Lindor gets back. Their outfield defense is terrible. Their contact rate is terrible. Their pitching has been terrible. Everything other than their fan support has been terrible. Lindor is now hurt. Soto is back. Soto was hurt. Lindor was playing, but no one is performing. And Dante Bichette has become a punch and Judy slap hitter at 226 who doesn't really have a position. And he's going back to shortstop. So I'm not liking what I see of those Mets, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, you know, I'm not enjoying it as much as John Rocker would a 7 train ride out to Shea Stadium. But
Wow. You
you
pulled
know,
the
yeah.
Rocker reference out,
One
huh?
of the few times I've ever rooted for the Mets against the Braves is when John Rocker was speaking. But it is nice. It's an interesting thing to see that futility. So for our friends Kevin and Bill, I'm sorry, go Mets. I
Mm.
say so facetiously. But I would say my next story, number 3, is those Mets, just on the
Right.
low end, and like you said, the Cardinals on the high end. I've been shocked by the Cardinals.
All right. I can comment on your Mets. So this is actually my number one.
Oh,
But
I'm
we
so
can jump
sorry.
ahead. But that's okay. Well, let's dive in a little bit. No problem. Remember that K Rock radio show Out of Order? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take it out of order. The Mets suck. The Mets are terrible. They're bad. They've been, but it's not all their fault. They've been crushed with injuries, absolutely crushed. Starting with the big gun, right? Juan Soto was out for a lengthy time in the beginning of the season. It's amazing when you have one player that goes out and it impacts the team as much as that did. Their offense struggled. Their negative 26 run differential. That means other teams have scored 26 runs more than they have. And I know you want to talk more about that. And then the day that Soto came back, Lindor got hurt. So they can't seem to put together a lineup with their 2 best players in it for very long. Was the losing streak 12, 10 or
12.
12?
12. Yeah.
No team, Chris, has ever won the division that's lost 10 games in a row. That was a stat that kind of caught me. I was like,
How do you do
wow,
this?
that's amazing. Yeah, right. Um, Robert Jr. was out with a back issue. Is it Senga was out?
Yeah, Senga. Yeah.
Mauricio was out. George Polanco was out. All these guys that they rely on, they all got hurt. So a lot of it has to do with their injuries. But their
Hold on.
offense is
I,
just
I I think I hear Pete Alonso at my door laughing his butt off at the moment that he got out just in time
oh,
and made the money.
Pete hasn't had the best start to his season either, but I
But
mean,
it's
at least
still
he's
better.
in a place that they appreciate him and he's
Yeah.
under less pressure. So bad offense, catastrophic injuries, not a good combination to start the year in New York. They have 15 wins. I mean, it's feasible that they hover around 40. Like we're
Oh,
20% of the way through the year,
I
and
just
they only
can't
have 15
imagine that
wins.
happening. I think they'll
So
hit a hot streak. I
I
mean, they
think they'll
get to.
get to 60.
I
They could
bet you
get
they make it to 72.
okay. All right. I
72 would
mean,
be my
I
guess at
hope you're
this
right.
point.
So what's going to save them is the pitching. McLean is a stud.
Yes.
He's probably going to vie for the Cy Young Award this year. You watch him pitch. I watched him pitch against the Dodgers one night. I mean, that ball, it
The
looks like Greg Maddux, and
yeah.
only he throws 98.
The
It's
movement on
wicked.
his pitches is
It's
just
wicked.
insane.
Yeah,
Insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
And their other starting pitching isn't terrible. I didn't pull it up. I don't have it in front of me, but I know their starting pitching's decent, but their offense, I mean, they just cannot score. And the
Let's just put
move,
it this way. They lost their closer to the Dodgers, who is now out for a long period of time, and still he's better than Devin Williams is the closer
oh,
for the Mets.
what happened to Devin Williams? He was
Oh,
so good
yeah,
in Milwaukee
yeah,
those years. And I was like,
yeah.
oh man, the Dodgers
Yeah.
need him someday.
New York
Uh,
has wrecked him.
oh,
Yankees plus Mets has completely destroyed him. And by the way, Ricky is being Ricky behind you as well too, as you got your A's jersey on. Ricky
oh
is
yeah.
just being Ricky. Yeah, one of my all-time favorites. Everyone's all-time favorite.
Uh,
But it is shocking to see the decline. And again, I don't. Sometimes you have teams that can get better. They're
yeah.
expecting something. And if you really look at it, I mean, the Mets had a historic collapse to end last season. So if you put together their start this season with the collapse from last season, it appears to be a bad baseball team with
Yeah.
the addition of Bo Bichette. And he has not added much. So I don't know. Maybe they are just a bad, very expensive baseball team with a really nice baseball stadium next to the U.S. Open. And I don't know, but it just seems odd because on paper they look so good.
Okay, let's talk about Bo Bichette for a second. Bo Bichette, I do have his statistics in front of me. Bo Bichette is hitting 230. The move to shortstop is not ideal for the Mets because Lindor's hurt, right? So, okay, well, who's our backup shortstop? Our third baseman. Put him back at short because he's played short his career. Is he a great shortstop? No, he's not. He's really built for second base, if you ask me.
Hmm.
He looked pretty good in the World Series last year at second base. So, I, you know, this team is not going to compete well this year, and I feel bad. I feel bad for the fans.
When
I
you're a
feel bad for
billionaire
them.
owner and you throw $385 million at nothing, maybe it doesn't feel bad for him. He wants to win, right? Cohen wants to win.
Yeah,
And the
sure.
Mets
Yeah,
fans certainly want to win. And we
yeah.
know, again, we have close friends who are Mets fans, and it's a passionate fan base. And this has got to hurt. It's got to hurt because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of expectation. Every year you go in expecting to win. I'm a Braves fan. I hope to win, but I also know that my 185 payroll maybe will not do that. But the
Yeah,
Mets 385, they expect to win. They expect to
that's
win,
right.
and they're not.
Chris, I think 1/3 of our 9 subscribers are hardcore Mets fans. So,
I love
you
the
know,
Mets.
right now
Go
our hearts
Mets.
are going out to you, Mets fans.
Go Bo.
All right. That was your number
I
three.
just I just see 1/3 of our fans dropping away at the moment. So we now
That's
have
right.
six. Yeah, six.
Right. Beep, you guys. All right. My number three, we're going to turn the tables, talk about something positive a little bit. Nick Kurtz. Nick Kurtz. Nick Kurtz is tearing it up for Sacramento. Can we call them Sacramento? What do we call
Sure.
them? I
Sure.
guess. It does say Sacramento across their home alternate bright yellow uniforms that I love, by the way.
I do too. I do
Kind of
too.
a closet
And
ace fan.
whoever says, unless you're at the Savannah Bananas game, I love me some yellow uniforms.
All right. Nick Kurtz is only hitting 260 with 5 homers in 36 games. But his on base percentage and the fear he has struck into opposing pitchers is real. He has 36 walks in 32 games. And he was in 36 games. So he is averaging 1 walk per game, which is a crazy pace. And then he had that streak of 32 games getting on base in a row. He's really lit the fire that's sustaining the A's and is really creating some excitement around that team. He's a young slugger. He looks like he's about 6'8" and about 280 pounds. He's just a monster of a human. And it's just fun to see someone like him who's filled with youthful energy and just a monster baseball player come up and turn the league on its head. And it's just been fun to watch.
And if he learns how to hit left-handed hitting or pitching, excuse me, what a monster he's going to be because he's
Yeah.
atrocious against lefties. But you're right, and that's a good young team. They have bats around him. I'm, if I wasn't an Angels fan, I could easily be an A's fan. I like everything about them, other than you know, their lack of location of where they can be. There's this like
Yeah.
homeless stray dog feel to them with, all of these young players. So, it's hard not to root for them. Once the Angels are out of it next week, then maybe I'll pull for the A's.
Yeah. So Sacramento is setting themselves up. So the A's are going to end up in Vegas, but Sacramento, that whole area around Sutter Health Park is a big vacant lot with a few apartments around it, and they are setting themselves up to aim to try for a expansion team because
The
it's a really beautiful area. Sacramento is a cool little
Okay.
town. It's a sleepy town, but it's got a Midwest vibe to it, and the river right there is beautiful. There's a walking path along the river. It would be a really cool spot for a Major League Baseball stadium, and they're setting themselves up for that.
If
So
you
we'll
remember,
see.
we've always disagreed on teams, especially when it comes to baseball. And we actually thought if we could be River Cat fans,
Oh
to
yeah,
start a new Sacramento team, we'd both be in. We could find an American League team we could both agree on.
yeah,
So I hope they get the River Cats. I hope they turn that into a professional team. That would be wonderful. I'm in.
that would be cool. All right, we're up to number two, Chris. What's your number two story of the year?
The Cubbies.
The
The
Cubbies.
Cubby
It's a good one.
Bears. The Cubby Bears are playing such great baseball. Their record is they're 27-12 at the moment. They are currently on a 10-game win streak. I
Mm,
think you said they've won 14 games in a row at Wrigley.
yeah,
So the nicest and the meanest fans in all of baseball right there. Amazing brats. Everything's working in Wrigleyville. Even despite the fact that three of their star pitchers are no longer with the team. So you have Matthew Boyd
mm,
is out with a meniscus tear, so that's at a minimum 6 weeks. To getting back full, ready to go, even longer. Cade Horton is out for the season, so their star is gone. Justin Steele has not returned. They've brought up two kids from the minors who have been pretty good, but that team just keeps scoring and
yeah,
scoring and scoring. So, Cubby Bears, how do we not jump on that wagon?
yeah. I it's hard to not like the Cubs. As a baseball fan, it's one of those teams that like I can't like the Cubs, but I kind of have to like the Cubs because they're just cool.
Does your intense
That whole
hatred
South Side Chicago vibe. It's a great ballpark. I mean, it's baseball church, at
Yeah,
Wrigley,
yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I get it.
Does your intense hatred of the Cardinals feed into you then pull for their biggest rival? Is
Oh,
there
I
any little bit of yeah?
definitely pull for the Cubs over the Cardinals. I cannot stomach anything St. Louis Cardinals. Sorry,
Their
sorry, Mike.
stadium is
If you're
well,
listening, our buddy
I will
Mike
say,
lives in St. Louis. Sorry, man.
one of these days, Steve, we need to get back because that Wrigley trip and those games, some of my favorite moments we've ever had with
Oh yeah,
baseball. So
yeah. That was a
Wrigley, for everyone out there, if you've not been to Wrigley and you're a baseball fan, you've got to go. It's that great.
yeah.
Yeah.
The friendly confines. It
Yeah.
truly is. It truly is. So just sticking on the Cubs for a second. Pete Crow Armstrong has an ongoing sort of little mini battle going with Dodger fans. You probably read about it, where he said, "Oh, the Dodger fans are just there to take a bunch of selfies. They don't really care about baseball." And then there was a lot of backlash, and he said, "Oh, well, they started it like he's like we're in middle school or something." But he hit one earlier this week to win a game in the bottom of the ninth at Wrigley. Like he hit it off of his shoelaces,
Yeah.
and he hit it out of Wrigley opposite field to win the game. And I was like, okay, respect. I mean, he's a good player. The Cubs are good. Kyle Busch, former Dodger, is raking. That team is for real. They look really good. That playoff atmosphere. I've never been to a playoff game at Wrigley. Have you? Have you been to a playoff game
No,
at Wrigley Field?
no, they were
Yeah, I know
terrible when
you've
I
been
lived
to
there.
100
Yeah.
games at Wrigley Field when you lived there for a bit, but I love love that atmosphere, and yeah, it's hard not to root for them. I'm with you there.
Will you say that Pete Crow is like a middle schooler? I mean, if you look at his face, he doesn't look like he's much older
He
than a
looks
middle
like
schooler. So
that's true.
he's
He
got a
looks like
long
he's about
career ahead of him.
14.
I hope he keeps
Yeah,
it up.
yeah.
And he's got a unique game. So it is fun to see what's happening there, on the north side. So I hope it keeps
Yeah,
going. And,
for
I think
sure.
the Dodgers, they need the
Oh,
Braves and the Cubs. They need some teams to really try to push them. That we feel as though this season has drama until we have that inevitable Yankee Dodger matchup.
we'll see. Both teams are looking good. Yeah, thank you for correcting me on the north south side. Yeah, I blew that one. Um, I just saw talking about the south side of Chicago. I just saw was watching about how the White Sox are looking to rebuild Comiskey already.
I've been
The
there. They
third
need to.
Comiskey Park. You been
Just
to the new one? The new Comiskey?
yes, keep the pinwheels. Get rid of everything else. Except for apparently your new Japanese sensation, right? Murakami's got 15 bombs already.
Dude.
So we went into our predictions like don't know what we're gonna get from here,
Yeah.
but dude can rake. He does not have a great average. I think he's hit about 240, but man,
Hey,
he's strong. He's strong.
hey, if he hits 240 and 40 bombs, I think the White Sox will gladly take that.
Hmm.
All right, my number two is I want to talk about something that doesn't sound very exciting, but I want to. So why are we talking about it? I want to talk about walks, Chris. I want to talk about walks, and specifically the ABS system because we did a whole show about ABS and we talked a lot about ABS in the early. I think well, actually, we were at spring training. We talked about ABS,
Absolutely love that.
and so there have been 4,200 walks so far this season, which sounds like a lot.
Hmm.
But, and it is a lot because, sorry, I'm pulling up my numbers here. There were 15,000 walks in all of last year. So we're not even a third of the way through the baseball season, and we're almost a third of the walks compared to last year have been issued already. So there's a lot more. In about 20% of the games, there's about almost 30% of the walks compared to last year. So why? Why are there so many more walks? So I got to thinking about this and, read some stuff and is it Between the Lines podcast?
That's a good one.
I think. Yeah. They had a great take on this, and it's basically ABS is working. And it is working. And one of the ways that it's working is late in games
Yeah.
where you'd have like a team is like up 8-2 or 10-2 or something. And the Empire, everyone's like looking forward to dinner and the beer after. And the strike zone gets a little wider. Not with ABS, it doesn't.
But
Right.
with Tom
So,
Glavine, who's pitching right behind you, it did get a little wider. But in this
oh,
particular game with Kirby Puckett up, it's about to not get wider. So
I got
my
to turn off.
heart is
This is the last time I play highlights behind me. So pitchers are getting squeezed basically
yeah.
compared to previously when they were getting those calls off the plate late in games. Now pitchers aren't getting them. So the question is that I have for you: is this good for the game?
I think it is. I like it. It's fast. It's quick. It doesn't interrupt the game, as we talked about.
Yeah,
But I think there's been this shift again. So we have forever seen. Oh, my heart just broke again there. We have forever seen
Kirby.
baseball players. I mean, we're old school. The strikeout rates just kill me. The inability to move players over, batters over, runners over kill me. And I think there's this just, mass, so many strikeouts that it can impede the game. But I think what's happened also back to this statistic, players have gotten so selective because they want to hit home runs. They want to drive the ball. They've been taught don't hit it unless it's in this zone. You know, old school players where you learn how to take that ball off the plate, slightly in, and drive it and hit it somewhere to keep the ball in play. And that's not what they do now. So I think you also, to compound this, you have players that are far more selective and willing to strike out, to take that outside pitch rather than swing it and look like an idiot, to take it and wait for your next at bat. So I think that also compounds these walk rates. Guys are just so selective. They're laying off, but they're laying off not necessarily because it's a good choice. They want to hit a home run. They want to really drive it. So they're not swinging at those pitches at the margins that may or may not be strikes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's right. So I think whether or not it's good for the game, I think we'll have to see. I mean, clearly the ABS system works well. It's working. It's working as intended. So whether or not it's truly good for the game remains to be seen. I feel like the pitching is better than it's ever been in my lifetime. You have guys throwing 98 in the seventh, eighth inning, rarely in the ninth inning because no one throws complete games anymore. But you have guys that are just monsters throwing heat all game long. And so, I used to get frustrated with Tommy Glavine and Maddox and getting those corners. Whereas I mean, I'm sure there were some Dodger pitchers that benefited from that kind of umpire manipulation, but oh, I'm getting a phone call. That's weird. I don't know if you
It's
can hear
Jerry
that.
Royce on the phone saying, "Yes, I did."
But boy, the Braves, man, you're Braves.
You know me. I like a good pitcher's game. I think we kind of felt confident. I mean, we sound like such old farts, but when a Nolan Ryan or Tom Seaver came out and just struck out 16, you
Yeah.
had three guys in the lineup who hit 330 and were contact hitters. Now, you can walk out and strike out 11 or 12 or 13, and no one's hitting above 240 because again, you're swinging for the fences. So I think the strikeout is, and that's why I think the Chris Sale conversation earlier, the strikeout is enhanced. Like, does it become this metric that becomes the everything, or does it become the commonplace? And I think the ball strike system takes away some of the magic of it.
Yeah.
And also it takes away some of, I don't know. I'll go back to the Bobby Cox 162 ejections. That's half the fun, right? That was not a
Right.
strike. All day long you've been giving them that outside strike, and now when it really matters, you gave it to them again, or you didn't. Right, you've been giving that pitch the whole time, and now you didn't when it mattered for my team. And some manager, some managers come out and Lloyd McClendon's it up, right? By the way, my favorite ejection of all time. Do look that one up. For all the listeners out there, if you have not seen the Lloyd McClendon ejection, it is epic. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't. I will look it up.
He took the base and carried it with him.
Oh, I do remember that one.
Yeah.
Just as a side note, the teams with the highest walk ratio in the 10 to 15% range, the Cubs, the Yankees,
Yep.
the Dodgers,
Yep.
and actually the Brewers are up there too, although they're not a division leader, but they're playing well. The team with the least amount of walks, the lowest percentage of walks, 4%. You got any
Nats.
guesses?
Nats.
No, but close. The Giants.
Giants. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, same record. Yeah.
Same record, yeah. But that's one of those things that I'll give your Dodgers credit. You have great hitters, yeah. You spend a gazillion dollars on players, all those things, but they're all so selective, And you just you. So last night you get a 3-1 win against Chris Sale. You work him and you work him and you work him and you work him, and that's the genius of looking at pitches, and that's the genius of knowing the guy behind me is going to get a hit. If he does it, the next guy is. And I like that. I mean, I like that part of baseball. So, and it nullifies some of those amazing, closers you bring in who are throwing 102-mile-an-hour sinkers, right? To,
Yeah.
to, to just blow out the starter because you're just so selective.
All right, we've reached number one, Chris, and this is going to be our number one because we talked about the Mets already. So, what is your number one story of the year, Chris, so far?
I'm just looking at players that I did not expect to have this amazing run. So, uh, Chase Dollander from the Rockies has a 2.25 ERA pitching
That's incredible.
as a Rocky and has been unhittable. Jose Soriano for the Angels has been a Cy Young winner this year. Every time he takes the mound, he is just incredible, including against my Braves. I like the rise. My favorite player this year to watch has been Yordan Alvarez. Like we keep wondering, and again, it's so. I laugh at the fall. We talked about other falls. We haven't talked about your beloved Astros because they're terrible. Hunter Brown goes down. Imai goes down. Their pitching is awful.
They've been devastated with injuries as well. Yeah.
But Yordan Alvarez can just freaking rake. And what a treat he is to watch hit the baseball. So my number one has been all of these players that I did not expect something from. Ben Rice for the Yankees has been
Oh, he's raking.
fantastic. So who was your pitcher last night? Ed Sheeran? No, he's a singer, right? But he's been
Oh, Robleski.
phenomenal. Yeah, just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I do like these players who we just didn't expect anything from, and so that's my favorite. I love that baseball can be that. We draw it up. We decide these guys are going to have great seasons. I can't wait. Here's my predictions, and then every year someone comes out and just becomes a baseball player and does these things that you never expect. So that's my favorite. Has been just these players that we did not expect to be a star. Like to name any Rocky pitcher, I could barely name a Rocky going into the season, much less a Rocky pitcher. So it's been kind of a treat to see. So that's my number one breakout seasons from guys that are just scuffling away, trying to make a living, trying to somehow make a dent in this game that hopefully they love. So I'll take all of those underdog players that are shocking the world.
I love that. Okay, Chris, I got three things I'm going to ask you about. We didn't talk about this, so
Okay.
I got three things really quick, hot takes that I want your opinion on. Don't think, just respond. Does Mike Trout get traded by the Angels this year?
No.
If the Angels are in last place and somebody wants him,
No.
offers, the Angels a huge deal. No. Okay, he's staying an Angel.
Okay.
Your one sentence response to Framber Valdez throwing at Trevor Story.
I am not surprised. So I did see
That
one
guy's
breakdown. I'll give you one more sentence. I
right.
did see Trevor Story not only was, following two guys hitting back-to-back home runs, but apparently early in the game he had been stealing pitches.
Yeah.
So he was looking at the grip of Val. So that's
Yeah,
just
because nobody ever does that.
it's just like an immovable asshole meeting
I
a
know.
pain in the ass force.
I
So
know.
no, not surprised at all. Yep.
And by the way, Valdez got 5 game suspension for that, which I never understand 5 game suspension for starting pitchers. It's like, okay, so I don't get to miss a start at all. I'll just see you next time.
Yes.
Whatever.
And what's funny is his
Dumb.
manager just sold him out. It's like, come on, we can't do that.
Oh, I know.
So.
I love Hench's response. Like, well, that didn't feel very good, or whatever he said.
I like the guys running out from the bullpen. They know they may get into a fight. Like none of their hearts are in it. They probably don't even like that. I get the sense he's got one of the most unliked people on any roster, and you've got to run out there because it's a team building exercise to just
Right.
stand there and go like, yeah, he's a jerk. Yeah, I agree he's a jerk, but hey, I can't let you rush him. So one of my
All
favorite
right.
moments this year. Hilarious, actually.
Last one. Trevor Bauer throwing a no hitter in the Atlantic League and then offering his services for free to any Major League Baseball team?
Um, you know my feelings about Trevor Bauer. He was a jerk before the Dodgers brought him in. He's a world class, awful human being from everything I can tell. Baseball has been filled with people who are bad human beings.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think in today's game we need to have that. And could he be successful? He's 36 years old,
Yeah,
probably.
he's
But
35. He's 35, and he hasn't pitched in the major leagues for what 5 seasons now.
he's never been a team guy. Do you bring a guy in that late and try to build for something? I think the organizations we're talking about who are having success this year, the Braves are a class organization, even though they've had some classless players. I think a lot of it is the team chemistry. I have to believe a team like the Cardinals we talk about, they're building a team chemistry. The Brewers are all team chemistry. That's why they still win. You know, the Dodgers are world class people now that they've gotten rid of Trevor Bauer and Urias. And I think team chemistry means too much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he's coming in to be one of those guys. He would say the right thing. He would say the right thing until he didn't say the right thing. So I think that at the heart of him, not only is he just a loathsome human being, and again, I speak of this as only what I've read,
Right. We don't know the
but
man, but
but everything I've read, he sounds like a terrible human being, and I don't know if organizations want to take that risk at this point.
mhm.
Can you get another 36-year-old who can get three guys out for the playoffs? Yes,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, from a baseball perspective, he's a 35-year-old former Cy Young Award winner who hasn't pitched in the major leagues in 5 years with a ton of baggage. I mean, even if you set all the baggage aside and set all the. Oh, he also said, by the way, that he will give up his social media accounts and let the team manage that. He just wants to play in the major leagues. So, but I think there also needs to be some precedent about how you behave, how one behaves, and on and off the field. And there have been jerks in the big leagues in the past, but that's the past, and it's new times that we're dealing with. And I think we have to recognize that it's a different era now than it was, 20 or 30 years ago. And we can't, as a society, allow that kind of what he did or didn't do, allegedly. We just can't allow it. We can't allow people like him in our game. I'm sorry.
And in our professional world, when we put
Right.
aside basic human decency in so many ways,
Yeah.
I know your profession. You work to help people have better lives.
Hmm.
I like to believe I'm doing the same. Anyone in our professions would no longer be in that profession. And I know baseball is this unique, special thing. And I think one of the reasons why we talk about baseball and we spend a Saturday afternoon doing this is because it holds a special place for us.
Hmm.
And I know that we don't want to deify them and place them in those positions, but it's an honor to play on a major league roster and to do what they do, for whatever money, amazing amount or little amount they're making. And to me, it's a persistent pattern of not showing respect for your fellow human or the game itself that you've been granted the ability to play. So to me,
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer, I'm going to say no. Um, Even if the Braves lose two more pitchers, I
Yeah,
still
and I
say no.
feel, and I would think that every team wants every advantage they can muster
Yeah.
for their major league roster or for their system, right? But
Hmm.
particularly for the big league roster, right? Because there's big money, big stakes involved, right? So they know every, let's just stay with pitchers, but every player, but every, they have the numbers and the stats and the probability of how a pitcher is going to perform. Every pitcher in their system, from the big leagues all the way down to rookie ball, and probably every pitcher in the college ranks, and every pitcher that exists, you
Mhm.
know, that's playing any level of baseball, they are aware of. And so for Trevor Bauer to just say, "Oh well, just I'll do this for free,"
Yeah.
don't you think they've had scouts looking at him? And don't you
Right.
think some marginal team that's right on the cusp of being a good team would look at him and go, "Yeah, maybe he can help us."
Yeah.
I think with the history of baseball and the guys that we've had playing the game that were scumbags, I feel like if he had anything to offer
Yeah.
that was worth more than the baggage that he would bring, they would say yes.
I think,
Some team would.
teams do not want to have a scumbag, but you want to have an asshole, right? I mean, every good organization has that one jerk who, Jeff Kentish gets under your skin and people just can't stand. But they know how to play baseball and they also know how to keep it within the margins of this is acceptable or this is not. So I
Mm,
think that teams have that one guy always. Like, again, Fromber. We've already talked about him. His
right.
failures have been on the mound, you know, with someone facing him that we've seen, and I don't know, Trevor Bauer. It just, it, you know, it seems like a very selfish approach. It's always about him and how he has been wronged, and there's never been any kind of contrition of what actually occurred, from what we have read.
Right.
Um, so
Allegedly. Yeah.
yeah. I
All
say
right.
that to stave off the lawsuit that I'm expecting to come in now because apparently he's trolling every social media and he's going to be angry at two guys who have an opinion on baseball and have invalidated him and emasculated him in some kind of way. He's going to throw the baseball over my fence.
Well,
Remember that.
hopefully this will be the last time his name comes up, but I had to bring it up because it was in the news this week, and it's been few and far between that we've talked about baseball. So, but hopefully it won't be another, 36 games that we wait to come together again for this, Chris. Thank you so much for joining me today.
I loved every minute of it, and we will do this again very soon. Good luck to all of your teams out there, everyone. Dodgers, Braves this weekend. Epic clash. Looking forward to seeing it. Fingers crossed, hoping for one. And may we both be happy next time we see each other on this broadcast with our teams.
All right, sounds good. Go A's.
Go Mets.
Take care, everybody. Bye.